Last season, we won the Serie B. Only £8 million in the transfer budget, however. And some big clubs around Europe are after Kelvin Yeboah. Tumbled up 2 places, though, into the European rankings, so who's laughing now? I noticed Nico from Barcelona was obtainable, so I decided to go for it and managed to negotiate a £5 million offer. He fits in perfectly in the diamond tactic that I wanted to deploy for the new season, especially in that defensive midfielder on support role. Midfield is actually our weakest area for squad depth, so that's ideal given that my new tactic has 4 midfielders. Somehow Nico agreed to sign for 30k a week. A 21-year-old capable of growing into a star for us. Oh, and I decided to give Crisquito a new deal. I did feel bad, and of course he is an icon after all. After a bit of attribute searching for passing, vision, stamina, and fitness, I found a second guy for my midfield unit. 19-year-old Siver Oos? I didn't want to say ass. Norwegian viewers, I'm very sorry. Anyway, the clear out continues and we released another 18 players and staff members. This news post about other released players from the league came through my inbox, and I noticed Koulibaly, a player I know who is a very well-rounded midfielder. Although he did look quite neglected recently, for a free transfer and only 15k a week, it's not a bad deal. Bid for Siver was accepted and contract offer was submitted. But look how many clubs around Europe now have a major interest in Yeboah, by the way. I then asked the board for more coaches and they agreed and allowed us 2 more. I noted down that we needed a coach for possession, tactical training, and there was only one guy who fitted the attributes. Good old Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Napoli then put in an embarrassing offer for Yeboah that was swiftly rejected by myself. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer goes from Manchester United manager to Genoa's possession coach, and we also pinched Bournemouth's goalkeeping coach as well. All's then signed for us to bolster our midfield as well. However, Koulibaly turned us down and joined Werder Bremen. So I took my scout reports and tried to loan a player instead, Swedish midfielder Swedberg. Great talent to fill the midfield out. There are some big moves happening around this window, by the way, in Serie A, including both Rodri and Pessina to Juventus. Swedberg joined and then got tackled and fractured his arm in training. Let them know you're there, boys. He joins a list including Destro, who is still out for another 2 months with a broken leg. And at 32, I hope it doesn't affect his attributes too much. That can sometimes be a career ending. Oh, add Cambiasso to that list too. The Diamond did fantastic in pre-season with a 100% win record. But Inter Milan in the league followed up by an away trip to Atalanta to start us off. First up though, cup match against Monza, and this is our lineup. And Nico scored within 4 minutes with a corker from the edge of the box. Maggiore got a second 2 minutes later, and we seen out the 2-1 result. The scouts then reminded me of a quality young centre-back named Nagalo from Norgeland, and he is super cheap, meaning I can offer installments seeing as I don't really have much left, and they actually accepted. But Inter Milan is up next. And our best centre-back, Anel Ahmedhodzic, is suspended, which is obviously a bummer. And I just simply have no idea how we pulled this off. It's not like they have a bad team or anything, they still have the likes of Lautaro Martinez there. And Yeboah managed to get 1 goal with 3 assists too. Nagalo then signed after seeing that performance, and what a bargain. So let's train him as a ball-playing defender for this upcoming season. The deadline day passes, some good players coming in, and we have Atalanta up next. We took the lead early too, and I thought we were going to go and do the unthinkable again. But then Mario Pasalic turned up and scored an equaliser. And the winner! Never mind. The rest of the month went fairly great though. A draw to Sassuolo and 2 away wins with Yeboah scoring a couple of more goals. October though looks tough and ends with our rivals Sampdoria. And that started with a 3-3 draw with Fiorentina, thanks to a 98th minute equaliser from the spot. A 6-0 win followed against Empoli with Ekuban getting a hat-trick in Destro's absence. Lazio was a challenge though. They broke down our right and opened through Zakangi, who then played the best pass I have ever seen to assist Ciro Immobile. We brought one back with great passing through the middle, but it was all we had on this day unfortunately. So it's time for the match against our main rival Sampdoria, who we actually share a stadium with. They are currently placed just 2 positions ahead of us with 2 more points in 6th position. So a win today brings more than just bragging rights. Our lineup going in was actually quite strong. Nagalo has slotted in well in our defence since joining, Cambiasso has returned and still regaining fitness, and our front 3 has been deadly with 18 goals between them so far this season. Not much happened until the 19th minute. Sampdoria began attacking down our left hand side and Crisquito defended brilliantly to break up the action. After Nagalo found a midfielder, the narrow diamond came into play with some incredible tiki-taka play. Maggiore playing a big part in that, making a forward run which was found with a defence splitting pass to fire in past the goalkeeper to make it 1-0. Sampdoria's free kick was well defended, and all of a sudden Ekuban was on the counter-attack. And I was screaming for him to play in Yeboah through, who had a clear run ahead on goal. Unfortunately, his greed kicked in and he was forced to pass backwards. Eventually, Nico found a little bit of space and fired over from range. Ekuban got caught in possession and Sampdoria broke through the middle with Gabbiadini. Thankfully though, Nagalo's pace recovered well and defended beautifully. And this led Sampdoria missing a crucial header and Kelvin Yeboah was in. But a great save kept it at 1-0. We then broke from a Sampdoria corner on the stroke of halftime and Maggiore did really well to hold up the ball. A fantastic ball then found Pedro Nuno, who's flashed past the post with his shot. Second half and Sampdoria held on the ball well while switching the play to the left hand side. But fantastic work once again from Pedro Nuno, who dispossessed the ball back for us. We then began the attack down the left hand side and where that man yet again Pedro Nuno was found in the edge of the area. He tried to play across but the shot was blocked. The ball dropped back to Pedro Nuno and look who is lurking. Club legend Crisquito, who fires one in from the edge of the area to score the second. 10 minutes later though, a big red card. Sampdoria trying to find their way back into the game. The ball dropped in the midfield where already yellow carded Ors dived in needlessly for his second yellow and an early bath. And that's how it all ended and we climbed into 5th place just 2 points behind top. 2 weeks later and we played Torino and we lost 2-1. And 2 weeks after that we lost 3-1 to AC Milan. Like, what is that scheduling? 2 games in November. Thankfully, we were back on form with a 5-0 win against Lorenzo Luca's Pisa. Apparently though, we are giant killers this season. Another away 5-0 win against a far superior side. And I know what you're going to ask. Link to the tactic is at the top of the description. 2 more terrible bids came in for Yeboah that I rejected. And I also rejected a £7.5 million bid for fullback Cambiasso. He's a valuable asset to the team, being that he plays on both sides of the pitch naturally. I know we've been slapping teams every now and then, but we do get humbled at home ourselves by Udinese and Beto. And as we found out previously on this channel, Beto is a beast. Then the following game, we dropped 6 in a game against Roma. We are seriously the most inconsistent side. Ekuban banging in a hat-trick as well, and pretty much all 3 of his goals were using his pace to break the offside trap and a well-placed finish. At this point, we are in 5th place, but at the same points as 4th. Just 1 more game played. A top 4 position would be mad in our first season back in Serie A. Ekuban then gets injured for the next 3 weeks. That's not ideal. Luckily though, Destro stepped up and we won the next 2 games quite comfortably. And somehow we are in 3rd. But our next 2 games is Juventus and Inter Milan. Yeboah wants a new deal, which I am happy to give him. However, he wants 60k a week and unfortunately, we can't afford to go that high, so we kind of failed to reach negotiation. I did actually follow that though by suggesting to sack his agent and he actually agreed. Yeboah just simply loves me. Away to Juve next, and we take the lead through Yeboah's pace. We then scored 2 minutes later with a Pedro Nuno found space in the box to cheekily chip the goalkeeper. And we scored a third in just 10 minutes of play when we caught Bonucci napping and played across to Destro, who scored with his first touch. Juve equalised though an extremely scrappy goal line scramble, but we held on to slay yet another giant this season. And we actually caused Zidane to be sacked by Juventus. Inter Milan however are top and they unfortunately did not fall for the giant killers act that we've been portraying this season. And neither did AC Milan, to be fair. Back-to-back away games in Milan seems a little bit harsh though. It actually got worse before it got better. We lost another, but a couple of huge wins against Fiorentina and Atalanta. And we ended March with another derby win, which the fans will be absolutely buzzing about. With 10 games to go, we have a 3-point gap between us and the top 4, with a game in hand. Ciro Immobile though has 36 goals this season. That man is mental. And unfortunately for us, we played him next, and he absolutely destroyed our defence too. Yes, one of his 3 goals was a penalty, but the guy is simply unstoppable in this game. We pulled one back though through Kelvin Yeboah. And that set the tone for a fairly poor month. Only wins against Torino and Udinese and a draw against Napoli. And still, with 4 games left, the dream is still alive. An outside chance of getting top 4 place and Champions League football. But Juve is our last game of the season as well. Not a great start to May with a draw to Hellas Verona when they were actually down to 10 men for 2/3 of the match. Away to the champions next, who opened the scoring through a corner. We equalised when Roma's defence were statues, allowing us to play Destro through. They scored right after half-time to make it 2-1 with Tammy Abraham header, but yet again, we fight back and we score after a blocked shot. And in the 81st minute, Ors played Yeboah through to take the 3 points. And we followed up with another win against Spezia. Marcelo Gallardo's Juve next at home, and the winner takes the last Europa League spot. Pulisic unfortunately opened the scoring for Juventus in the first half. With some work down the right hand side, Vlahovic then scored a second. And it wasn't our day unfortunately, and Dusan Vlahovic scored his second and Juve's third. But where does that leave us in the table? Well, Ekuban actually scored the most goals for us this season, but surprisingly Pedro Nuno came in second place with 17 in that shadow striker role. Yeboah was actually disappointing with 16 goals in 39 games, which sees us drop down to 7th place, but we still managed to clinch a spot in the EC2 however. But we only have £15 million in the transfer budget, which isn't obviously promising. Dynamics look quite good though with the excellent managerial support. They must simply love the diamond. And the board seem quite happy with my performance too. So if the next season has been released, I'll pop it up on the screen right here, but I hope you enjoyed it, smash a like, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye bye.